Hey guys, tonight we're staying up way past bedtime. The words leave my mouth like a last breath before the dive. Outside the viewport, the last shard of twilight dissolves into indigo, then black, then something darker than black, an absence that presses against the titanium hull like a living thing. I hear the pressure groan around me, a slow metallic sigh that sinks with the submersible's descent. The flood lamps flick on, twin cones of white slicing through the water, catching motes of marine snow drifting like ash. Somewhere below, a sonar ping returns late, too late, as if the ocean floor is already moving away from us. You probably won't make it to the surface after this one. We're in Nereus 9, a 3-person deep submergence vehicle rated to 11,000 meters, built by the same lab that mapped the Challenger Deep. Dr. Mara Voss sits left seat, her gloved fingers dancing over the manipulator controls. Captain Leo Reyes is right seat, eyes locked on the depth gauge already ticking past 1,200 meters. I'm center, narrating into the voice recorder because that's what I do. Turn terror into bedtime stories for insomniacs. The cabin smells of ozone and recycled air, and every valve hiss feels like a countdown. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Tell me in the comments where you're listening from and what time it is there. I want to know how far the dark has already reached you. The photic zone slips away. Bioluminescent jellyfish pulse past the glass. Atala, the alarm jelly, strobing red like a warning we're too stubborn to heed. At 1,800 meters, the water turns viscous, clinging to the hull. I feel the first real weight, not just pressure but presence, as if the ocean is leaning in to listen. Mara adjusts the acoustic array. The screen blooms with returning pings. Seabed at 6,800 meters, she says, voice calm, but her knuckles whiten on the joystick. That's the Hadal Zone. Mariana Trench, Western Wall. We're dropping into the midnight layer. Now, dim the lights. Maybe let the sound of the ocean play softly in the background. And let's dive into tonight's descent together. The thrusters hum. We fall. Curiosity first. The thrill of being 3 humans in a tin can chasing the edge of the map. Leo jokes about the coffee ration. Mara recites the sub's crushed depth like a prayer. 36,000 feet of water above us before the hull implodes. I narrate the numbers for the recorder. External pressure climbing past 900 atmospheres. Temperature 4 degrees Celsius and dropping. The scientific anchor grounds us. The trench was formed by subduction, Pacific plate grinding beneath the Philippine plate, a scar in the planet's skin 1,588 miles long. We're here to deploy a seismic node array, listen for microquakes, maybe catch a black smoker venting superheated minerals. Routine science. Boring, even. Then the fear. At 3,200 meters, the sonar chirps an anomaly. Not a ridge, not a vent, something curved. A perfect arc sweeping across the trench wall, 400 meters wide, smooth as polished obsidian. Mara zooms the acoustic image. That's not geology, she whispers. That's architecture. The word hangs in the cabin like a bad smell. Leo kills the flood lamps to save power. Darkness swallows us, broken only by the soft green glow of instruments. I feel it before I hear it, a vibration through the deck plates, low and arrhythmic, like a sleeping god turning over in bed. My chest tightens. The ocean doesn't hide things from us. It just waits until we forget. We reactivate the lamps. The beam catches the curve again, but now it's moving. not sliding, undulating. The trench wall flexes, a slow inhale that lifts a curtain of silt. Leo's voice cracks. That's not possible. Rock doesn't breathe. The submersible tilts as the current shifts, dragging us sideways. Warning klaxons blare, proximity alert. We're 200 meters from the wall and closing. Mara fires the emergency ballast release. Iron weights tumble away, but the ascent thrusters whine against something stronger than physics. The vibration deepens, a sub-bass note that rattles my molars. I taste copper. Awe arrives uninvited. Through the viewport, the silt cloud parts. The curved surface isn't stone. It's membrane, iridescent, veined with bioluminescent rivers that pulse in slow, deliberate waves. Each pulse sends a pressure wave through the water. I feel it in my spine. The structure dwarfs us, a living cliff face that exhales warmth. Thermal readings spike to 12 degrees Celsius against the trench's usual 2 degrees Celsius. Mara's screen overlays the seismic node data. The breathing syncs with microquakes at 0.2 Hz, the exact frequency of a human resting heartbeat. But whose heart is 400 meters wide? Leo regains attitude control. We hover, floodlamps trembling across the membrane. It glistens like whale skin but older, scarred with canyons that glow faint blue. Something moves beneath the surface, shadows the size of city blocks sliding past, too graceful for geology. I lean toward the glass. The vibration is inside me now, a second pulse matching my own. I should be terrified. Instead, I feel recognized. The ocean floor has been waiting. Mara's voice is barely a thread, deploying the first node. The manipulator arm extends, suction cup clamping the sensor to the membrane. The moment it touches, the breathing stops. Absolute silence. Even the thrusters sound muffled, like screaming into a pillow. Then the membrane answers. A single, deliberate contraction that pushes us back 10 meters. The node's LED blinks green, data streaming. But the waveform on Mara's screen isn't seismic. It's a voice. Low, guttural, layered in harmonics no human throat could produce. It says something in a language that predates bone. I record every second, because if we surface, no one will believe us. If we don't, well, the recorder is pressure rated to 15,000 meters. It'll outlive us. The membrane relaxes. The breathing resumes, slower now, as if tasting the node. Leo plots an ascent vector, but the current has shifted again, downward. The depth gauge rolls past 4,000 meters. We're being invited, Mara says, and for the first time her calm fractures into wonder. The floodlamps catch a new detail, etched into the membrane, barely visible, a spiral glyph that matches the sub's hull insignia. Nereus 9, our own logo, carved eons before we were born. I laugh, because what else is there? The sound echoes wrong in the cabin, too bright, too brittle. Leo kills the ascent thrusters. Fuel's at 62%, he says. We ride the current, or we fight it and die tired. Mara nods, eyes shining behind her visor. The vibration settles into a lullaby. I feel my eyelids sag, not from fatigue, but from permission. The ocean is singing us deeper. That same pulse I felt near the trench wall now lives in my ribcage. I don't fight it. We descend. The darkness thickens like ink poured into water. Past 4,500 meters, the flood lamps lose their punch, scattering into a bruised halo that barely reaches 20 meters. I watch the trench wall glide by, no longer a wall but a slow-moving flank. The membrane's bioluminescence has dimmed to a heartbeat glow, deep indigo veins pulsing every 8 seconds. Mara's seismic node is still clamped to it, feeding us a live waveform that looks less like data and more like a lullaby in Morse. Leo keeps us parallel, thrusters on whisper, riding the exhalation current that smells faintly of hot iron through the scrubbers. Curiosity again, sharper now, edged with hunger. We're mapping in real time. The acoustic array paints a three-dimensional lattice of the membrane's surface, resolving ridges and valleys that align with fractal precision. Mara overlays the scan against known hadal topography. Nothing matches. The curve we saw earlier is only one segment of a much larger ring. A perfect circle 1.2 kilometers in diameter, tilted 45 degrees into the trench slope. She cross-references bathymetric archives. The ring has never appeared on any survey, not even the high-resolution LiDAR flyover from 2019. It simply wasn't there until tonight. The scientific anchor, ring structures this size require tectonic timescales to form, millions of years of sediment compaction. Whatever this is, it grew, or arrived, in under 6 years. The hum returns, deeper, threading through the hull like a cello string plucked inside my skull. My pulse sinks without permission. I catch Leo tapping the yoke in perfect 0.2 hertz rhythm. He doesn't notice. Mara's lips move, counting under her breath. The cabin lights flicker in sympathy. I reach for the voice recorder, thumb hovering. Depth 5,100 meters. Ambient pressure 520 atmospheres. Temperature gradient inverted. Water against the membrane reads 18 degrees Celsius, while free water stays 2 degrees Celsius. We're inside a thermal envelope. My voice sounds borrowed, like someone else speaking through a seashell. Fear arrives wearing Mara's face. She rips off her headset, ears bleeding from sudden barometric shift. The array's picking up infrasound at 7 hertz, she says, voice nasal with blood. That's the human pain threshold. It's targeted. The waveform spikes, a serrated knife of amplitude. Leo slams the emergency mute. The speakers die, but the vibration keeps climbing, rattling the bolts in the bulkhead. I taste ozone. The viewport flexes inward a millimeter, enough to frost the glass with hairline cracks. Titanium shouldn't do that. I kill the flood lamps. Darkness swallows us, absolute, womb-like. The membrane's glow becomes our only light, painting the cabin in corpse blue. Something presses against the hull, soft, deliberate, the way a tongue tests a sore tooth. The submersible lurches sideways. Leo fires lateral thrusters. We skid 10 meters and stop. The pressure gauge jumps 40 atmospheres in a single breath. Not compression, suction. The ocean is inhaling. Off floods in behind the panic, cold and inevitable. I switch to the belly camera. The feed shows the membrane peeling open along a seam we never scanned. A vertical fissure, 50 meters tall, lined with translucent cilia that sway in slow motion. Each cilium ends in a cluster of lenses. Eyes, maybe, or sensors older than sight. They focus on us. The sub's running lights reflect back 1,000 times. A constellation trapped in wet amber. The fissure widens, exhaling a cloud of warm silt that smells, impossibly, of petrichor after rain. The scent leaks through the CO2 scrubbers and curls into my lungs like memory. Mara's bleeding has stopped. Wonder has cauterized it. She leans toward the fissure feed, whispering Latin under her breath. Ab intra, ex infra. From within, from below. Leo's knuckles are white on the controls, but he's smiling, a rictus of surrender. The hum drops an octave, becomes almost maternal. My reflection in the viewport looks unfamiliar, pupils blown wide, mouth slack. The ocean doesn't hide things from us. It just waits until we forget. The cilia extend. One brushes the starboard viewport, leaving a streak of luminescent mucus that hardens into quartz-like ridges. The pattern matches the spiral glyph from Section 1, but inverted, as if we're seeing the negative. Leo records hull integrity, still nominal, but the outer temperature sensors are spiking to 38 degrees Celsius, human blood heat. Mara's seismic node transmits a new signal, a binaural tone that phases between left and right channels, creating a phantom sound inside the skull. I hear my childhood bedroom, waves against the pier in Galway, my mother humming. The others hear their own ghosts. Leo's eyes fill with tears he refuses to blink away. We drift closer to the fissure. The sub's inertial system logs a gentle acceleration, no thruster input. The ring structure rotates slowly beneath us, revealing the inner surface, a cathedral of hexagonal plates, each one etched with branching filaments that pulse in synchronized waves. Bioluminescence tracers spell out equations, Maxwell's, but wrong, curled into higher dimensions. Mara laughs, a sound like breaking glass. It's a machine, she says, older than plate tectonics, older than the moon. The scientific anchor fractures. Carbon dating is meaningless when the substrate predates carbon. The hum resolves into language, not words, but intent. Stay, witness, become. I feel the invitation in my marrow. Leo releases the yoke. The submersible glides forward on its own. The fissure yawns wide enough to swallow us whole. Inside, the water glows gold, warm as breath. The pressure gauge steadies. External 690 atmospheres, internal 1. The hull is no longer holding the ocean out. The ocean is holding us in. I record one last objective note. Depth 5,800 meters. Entering subsurface structure. All systems green. Then I switch off the recorder because some truths aren't meant for the surface. The cilia close behind us like curtains. The trench wall seals. That same vibration I felt near the trench wall now sings through every rivet, every bone, every regret I never voiced. We are inside the heartbeat. The fissure seals with a sound like glaciers kissing. No impact, no scrape, just a wet sigh that folds darkness over us. Inside the ring, the water is no longer water. It's medium, dense as mercury yet breathable, warm as blood, lit from within by slow auroras that crawl across the vaulted ceiling. The submersible floats weightless, thrusters silent. Leo's hands hover over dead controls. The yoke moves itself, nudging us along a spiral corridor wide enough for cathedrals. My headset crackles with static shaped like lullabies. Curiosity is a child again, tugging my sleeve. The corridor walls are hexagonal basalt, but the joints breathe, contracting, expanding, exhaling plumes of golden particulate that taste of iron and ozone. Mara's seismic node, still clamped outside, transmits through the hull. The breathing is no longer 0.2 hertz. It's our heart rates, averaged, amplified, played back at us in perfect synchrony. 3 human drums inside 1 planetary lung. The scientific anchor. The trench floor here is 7,200 meters below sea level, yet the pressure reads 1 atmosphere. A bubble of impossible equilibrium, sustained by mechanisms no textbook predicted. The corridor curves downward, corkscrewing into the ring's interior. Floodlamps are useless. The gold light comes from everywhere and nowhere. I switch to passive sonar. The ping returns instantly, as if the walls are listening. The return waveform is a perfect mirror of our hull. Every weld, every scratch, every fingerprint on the titanium. Leo whispers, "It's scanning us." His voice arrives inside my skull before my ears, phased half a second early. Time is loosening its stitches. Fear arrives wearing my own face in the viewport. The reflection blinks a moment after I do. Its mouth moves without sound. "You were always here." The golden particulate coalesces into silhouettes, humanoid, but elongated, joints bending wrong. They drift alongside the sub, keeping pace, faces smooth as river stones. One presses a palm to the glass. The viewport warms. My hand rises to meet it without permission, skin to skin through inches of alloy and impossible water. The contact is electric, intimate, violating. I feel its pulse, slow, patient, ancient. It knows my name. Mara rips open the emergency med kit, jabs a sedative patch onto her neck. "Hallucinations," she mutters, but the patch dissolves on contact, absorbed by the medium. The silhouettes multiply, lining the corridor like an honor guard. Their outlines flicker between solid and suggestion, bioluminescence strobing in patterns that spell out childhood fears I never told anyone. Leo's silhouette shows him drowning in a bathtub at age 6. Mine shows the night I watched my father walk into the Irish Sea and not come back. The walls are reading us, exhaling our ghosts. Then awe, vast and merciless, floods the cabin. The corridor opens into a chamber the size of a sunken city. The ocean floor here is alive, a diaphragm of muscle and cartilage veiled in translucent skin, rising and falling in tidal breaths that lift kilometers of sediment. Each inhalation draws warm currents from hydrothermal vents far below. Each exhalation vents cooler water laced with minerals that crystallize mid-drift into delicate lattices. The chamber's ceiling is the ring's inner surface, and it breathes with us. When we inhale, it contracts. When we exhale, it blooms. We are the heartbeat now. At the chamber's center floats a structure, part coral, part machine, part myth. A latticework sphere 300 meters across, woven from filaments thinner than capillaries, yet strong enough to hold back the trench. Nodes of black glass pulse along the strands, each one a miniature sun. The sphere rotates slowly, and with every turn it exhales a pressure wave that travels through the diaphragm, through the sub, through my bones. The wave carries memory, not ours, but the planet's. I see the trench forming 180 million years ago, magma vomiting into newborn ocean. I see the first chemosynthetic bacteria clustering around vents. I see something vast and many-eyed descending from the upper atmosphere, folding itself into the wound to sleep. Mara's instruments go haywire. The depth gauge reads 7,999 meters, then 7, then error. The temperature climbs to 37.2 degrees Celsius, human core. The air scrubbers shut down. We should be choking, but the medium floods our lungs with oxygen-rich warmth. Leo laughs, a wet, broken sound. "We're inside it," he says. "The trench isn't a hole. It's a lung." The scientific anchor dissolves. Lungs don't fossilize. Yet here is a lung older than lungs, older than breath itself. The silhouettes converge, merging into a single figure that fills the forward viewport. It has no face, only a suggestion of one, depths where eyes should be. It raises a hand, and the sphere responds. Filaments detach, drifting toward us like dandelion seeds. One touches the hull. The submersible opens, not breached, but unfolded, petals of titanium peeling back to reveal us naked to the medium. No pain, no cold, just exposure. The figure steps through the open hull, waterless, weightless, and places a palm on my forehead. I see everything. The breathing started 3.2 billion years ago, when the planet's core hiccuped and the mantle exhaled a sigh that cracked Pangea. The ring is a valve, regulating pressure between crust and abyss. It wakes every 180 million years to vent excess heat, preventing runaway greenhouse or frozen death. We are not invaders. We are midwives, here to witness the exhale. The silhouettes are previous midwives, Neanderthal, Australopithecus, something with gills and starlight in its veins. They failed. We might not. The diaphragm contracts. A low moan travels through the chamber, felt in the sternum more than heard. Silt clouds billow upward, carrying fragments of bone and circuitry fused together. The sphere dims, conserving energy for the next cycle. The figure withdraws its hand. My reflection in the viewport blinks in perfect sync again. The ocean doesn't hide things from us. It just waits until we forget. But I remember now. I remember being the sigh. Leo reaches for the controls, but the submersible is no longer ours. It drifts toward a cleft in the diaphragm, a birth canal of muscle and light. Mara records coordinates that don't exist on any map. That same vibration I felt near the trench wall has become a chorus, and we are the soloists. The chamber exhales one final time, pushing us deeper into the lung's throat. The cleft swallows us whole. The diaphragm's muscle closes behind like a valve, sealing with a wet pop that echoes in my teeth. We slide down a throat of living stone, warm and slick, the submersible cocooned in peristaltic waves that nudge us along at walking pace. No thrusters, no helm, just surrender. The medium thickens to syrup, golden now, shot through with silver threads that braid and unbraid like capillaries. My skin tingles where the figure touched me. The handprint glows faint blue, a brand that pulses with the trench's own rhythm. Curiosity is a fever. Mara's console flickers back to life, but the screens show us, not the sub, not the trench, but our bodies rendered in cross-section. Hearts beating, lungs inflating, synapses sparking in frantic Morse. The imaging resolution is atomic. I watch a sodium ion cross a neuron in real time. The scientific anchor. No human scanner has ever achieved this depth of field at 8,000 meters. The data stream originates from the silver threads weaving through the medium. Nanoscale sensors, self-replicating, older than mitochondria. They taste our electricity and sing it back. The throat widens into a cavern veined with black glass. Flood lamps are gone. The hull petals remain open, and the medium cradles us like amniotic fluid. Leo floats free of his seat, untethered, hair drifting in slow motion. His eyes are milk white, reflecting constellations that don't exist above the waves. He speaks, but the words arrive inside my skull first. The walls remember every ship that ever sank. The cavern walls are lined with wrecks, triremes, ironclads, bathyscaphes, fused into the basalt like fossils in amber. Their hulls breathe in and out, metal flexing as if still afloat. A Roman galley exhales a school of silver fish that dissolve into light. Fear arrives wearing sound. A chord strikes. 3 notes. Minor, unresolved, felt in the gut more than heard. The chord loops, growing denser, layering harmonics until it becomes a voice. Not language, but pressure. It tells me every secret I buried. The lie I told my mother the night she died. The grant proposal I falsified. The way I let Leo take the fall for the Nereus 7 implosion. The cord tightens around my ribs. Mara screams, a sound that fractures into glass, shards drifting through the medium. Her secrets spill out in bioluminescent text across the cavern ceiling. I sabotaged the O-rings. I wanted the fame. Leo's follow, written in his own blood. I knew. I let it happen. The cord forgives nothing. It only witnesses. Then awe, oceanic and merciless, lifts us out of shame. The cavern floor falls away, revealing a chasm within the chasm. At its center hangs a leviathan, not flesh, not machine, but architecture. A city-sized lattice of bone and circuitry, ribs of obsidian curving into arches that support membranes of liquid starlight. It rotates on an axis older than rotation, exhaling clouds of data that crystallize into glyphs midair. The glyphs are memories, the extinction of the Ediacaran, the first whale learning to sing, the moment oxygen poisoned the sky. Each memory is a pearl swallowed by the lattice, stored against a future that may never come. The silver threads converge on us, weaving through the open hull. They touch the blue brand on my forehead and download. I see the lattice's purpose. It is the trench's immune system, built by something that seeded Earth before Earth had a name. The breathing regulates core heat. The lattice regulates memory. Every 180 million years it wakes, inhales the planet's grief, exhales equilibrium. We are not the first midwives. We are the first to be invited inside. The Roman galley flexes its oars in salute. A World War II destroyer fires a silent broadside of light that spells welcome in Morse. Mara's console dissolves into the medium, screens melting into liquid crystal that reforms around her wrists as gauntlets of living data. She raises her hands. The lattice responds, ribs unfolding like petals. A corridor of light opens downward, spiraling into the Leviathan's heart. Leo drifts toward it, arms outstretched, crucified on wonder. His voice is everywhere now. We were always echoes. Now we get to choose the song. The chord resolves into a major key, forgiving after all. The scientific anchor is myth now. The lattice predates the Chicxulub impactor, survived the Permian extinction, dreamed the first coral. Its power source is the planet's own rotation, siphoned through piezoelectric bones that sing when the mantle turns. The medium is its blood, carrying instructions in nucleic acids that never evolved on Earth. We are inside a god that never needed worship, only witnesses. The blue brand spreads across my chest, mapping veins in light. I feel the lattice catalog my DNA, cross-reference it against every creature that ever swam or crawled or flew. A match flickers, 0.0003% unknown base pairs, inherited from a common ancestor that fell from the stars. The lattice recognizes me. The Roman galley dips its prow. The destroyer fires again. Home. Fear returns, smaller now, a child's terror of the dark. The corridor of light pulses, impatient. If we enter, we do not return as we were. The lattice will rewrite us, optimize, archive, release. Mara's gauntlets tighten. She nods, ready. Leo is already dissolving, edges blurring into the medium. I reach for the voice recorder, but it's gone, absorbed. My last objective note is a whisper into the cord, depth indeterminate. We are the echo now. The ocean doesn't hide things from us. It just waits until we forget. I remember everything. That same vibration I felt near the trench wall has become a cathedral bell, and we are the clapper. The Leviathan inhales. We slide into the corridor of light, carried on a breath older than sin. The corridor of light collapses behind us with the soft finality of a heartbeat skipping. We are no longer falling. We are flowing, carried on a current that moves upward through downward space. The medium inverts. Gold becomes silver, warm becomes cold, pressure becomes absence. The submersible's petals fold inward, knitting themselves into a seamless sphere around us. But the sphere is translucent now, a bubble of thought inside a vein. My lungs no longer need air. The medium feeds me oxygen through skin, through memory, through regret. Curiosity is a scalpel. The vein walls are transparent, revealing strata of time stacked like sedimentary rock. I see the trench being born, magma vomiting into newborn ocean. Then older, the first hydrothermal vents coughing life into poison water. Older still, a meteorite the size of Manhattan punching through protocrust, trailing alien spores that learned to breathe sulfur. The scientific anchor. The trench's western wall is a reverse fault, Pacific plate diving at 9 centimeters per year. But the vein shows the plate hesitating, pausing mid-subduction as if something below tugged the leash. The pause lasted 3.2 seconds 180 million years ago. That was the first breath. The current accelerates. We pass through thermal layers that shouldn't exist. Water at 4 degrees Celsius above water at 40 degrees Celsius. Density inverted, flowing up into the trench floor. Mara's gauntlets pulse with data. The inversion is artificial, maintained by piezoelectric fields generated by the Leviathan's ribs. The ribs are tuning forks, vibrating at frequencies that bend thermodynamics. Water rises to cool the core. Cooled water sinks to feed the vents. A planetary thermostat built before planets had names. Fear arrives wearing silence. The vein narrows. The sphere shrinks to fit, compressing us gently until shoulders touch, knees brush, breath mingles. Leo's eyes are galaxies now, pupils swirling with starbirth. He mouths a word I hear in my spine. Listen. The current stops. Absolute stillness. Then the vein speaks, not sound, but pressure shaped into memory. I am 6 years old, standing on the pier at Galway, watching my father's silhouette shrink against the moonlit tide. The wave that took him was 3.2 meters high. The trench remembers the exact curvature of that wave and plays it back through the medium, a ripple that lifts the sphere and sets it down unchanged. Mara's memory follows. The Nereus 7 implosion, the way the viewport starred outward before the ocean rushed in. The trench replays the star pattern across the sphere's surface, then erases it. Leo's memory is quieter 664, his daughter's first word, Dada, spoken into a telephone from a hospital bed she never left. The trench holds the sound like a pearl. The vein widens again, but the current now flows through us. I feel my bloodstream reverse, veins carrying water upward, arteries downward. My heart becomes a pump in a larger circuit. The sphere dissolves entirely. We are naked in the current, skin luminous with bioluminescent tattoos that map our circulatory systems onto the trenches. The tattoos pulse in synchrony with the Leviathan's ribs. We are not inside the trench. The trench is inside us. Awe arrives as vertigo. The vein opens into a hollow the size of the moon's core. At its center floats the Leviathan's heart, not muscle, but absence. A sphere of perfect vacuum, 400 meters across, wrapped in filaments of dark matter that sing in ultraviolet. The heart beats once every 180 million years, drawing excess heat from the mantle and exhaling it into the void between stars. The filaments are the mythic concept, an ancient machine built by the same intelligence that seeded the meteorite, designed to keep Earth from cooking or freezing. It is failing. The last exhale was weak. The core is 0.8 degrees Celsius above optimal. This breath must be perfect, or the planet dies of fever. We are the adjustment. The current carries us to the heart's event horizon. Time dilates. A second stretches into a century. I watch continents drift and fast forward. Oceans boil. Ice caps bloom and retreat. The heart shows us the cost of failure. A blue marble cracked open, mantle bleeding into space. Then it shows the cost of success. We will not return. Our bodies will become the filaments, our memories the ballast, our heartbeats the metronome for the next 180 million years. Mara reaches for Leo's hand. Leo reaches for mine. Our fingers interlace, and the tattoos merge into a single circuit. The heart inhales. We feel the pull, not gravity, but necessity. My father's wave crest, Mara's starred viewport, Leo's daughter's last word. They braid into a single filament that threads through the vacuum. The heart accepts the offering. The temperature drops 0.8 degrees Celsius in an instant. The exhale begins. The ocean doesn't hide things from us. It just waits until we forget. I remember the exact weight of my father's coat the night he left it on the pier. I remember the smell of Mara's hair when she leaned over the Nereus 7 schematics. I remember Leo teaching his daughter to whistle through a blade of grass. These are the ballast now. The current reverses, pushing us upward through the vein, but we are no longer three. We are one filament, glowing, eternal. That same vibration I felt near the trench wall has become the planet's pulse, and we are the echo that keeps it steady. The heart exhales. The trench sighs in relief. The exhale is not a push, it is a release. We rise through the vein on a breath that has waited 180 million years to leave its maker's lungs. The filament that was once three bodies stretches, thins, yet does not break. I feel Mara's childhood fear of thunder braided into Leo's memory of his daughter's laugh, braided into my father's last footstep on wet wood. The braid glows silver, warm as sunrise, and the trench drinks it like wine. The heart behind us contracts once, a soft, satisfied thump, then stills. The vacuum sphere collapses into a single point of darkness that folds in on itself and is gone. The Leviathan sleeps again. Curiosity is almost gentle now, a hand on the shoulder. The vein widens into the ring chamber we entered hours or centuries ago. The diaphragm beneath us is quiet, no longer breathing in tidal waves, but in the slow, tidal rhythm of a planet at rest. The golden particulate drifts like dust in an old library. The wrecks along the walls have settled into their basalt beds. The Roman galley's oars are still, the destroyer's guns silent. Mara's gauntlets dissolve into motes that spell thank you in a script no human eye was meant to read. Leo's starfield eyes dim to ordinary brown, but they shine with something older than wonder. The submersible reforms around us, petals knitting back into titanium, viewports sealing with a sigh of pressure equalization. The hull is unmarked, as if it never opened. Instruments blink awake. Depth 6,800 meters. Pressure 680 atmospheres. Temperature 2 degrees Celsius. The inversion is gone. Physics has been politely asked to return. The sphere hovers above the diaphragm. Thrusters idling, waiting for a command that will never come from human hands. Leo settles into the pilot's seat. His fingers remember the yoke the way a sleeper remembers a dream. Mara's console shows the seismic node array fully deployed, data complete, mission parameters green across the board. We are, by every metric, successful. Fear arrives one last time, small and precise. I reach for the voice recorder. It is there, cold and real, LED blinking red. I press record and hear my own voice, steady, calm, wrong. Mission log, final entry. Nereus, 9 returning to surface. All objectives achieved. Crew intact. No anomalies to report. The lie slides out smooth as oil. I stop the recording. The trench does not contradict me. It has what it needs. Awe is the quiet after the storm. The ring structure rotates one last time, slow as a dying galaxy. The fissure we entered through opens above us, a vertical smile in the trench wall. Sunlight, impossible, filtered through 6,800 meters of water, leaks down in a single shaft of pale green. It touches the submersible's hull and warms the metal like a promise. Leo engages ascent thrusters. We rise. The diaphragm exhales a final plume of silt that parts around us like curtains at the end of a play. The membrane seals. The ring dims. The trench forgets we were ever here. Halfway to the photic zone, the current releases us. Nereus, 9 breaks the surface at 3:17 local time. The support ship's floodlights are blinding after so much dark. Deckhands cheer, wave, throw lines. Mara climbs the ladder first, hair plastered to her skull, eyes bright with secrets she will never speak. Leo follows, steady, whistling through a blade of grass he found in his pocket. I am last. The recorder is heavy in my hand. I consider dropping it overboard, but the ocean has already taken what it wanted. On deck, the mission director claps my shoulder. Hell of a dive. Data's pristine. You'll be in nature by Christmas. I nod, smile, accept coffee that tastes of rust and sunlight. The trench is 11 kilometers below us now, breathing slow and steady, dreaming of the next midwives. That same vibration I felt near the trench wall is gone from my chest, but I hear it still, faint, patient, in the ship's engines, in the slap of waves against the hull, in the pulse at my throat. It is the planet's heartbeat, and we are its echo. I slip below decks to the comms station. The satellite uplink is live. I attach the recorder's file, label it Nereus, 9_final_transmission.mp3, and hit send. The progress bar climbs. 10%, 30%, 70%. At 92%, the ship's lights flicker. The bar freezes. A single line of text appears on the screen, white on black. Thank you for your service. Rest now. The file vanishes. The uplink dies. No one else notices. Back on deck, dawn paints the horizon rose and gold. Mara and Leo stand at the rail, shoulders touching, watching the sun rise over an ocean that looks ordinary. I join them. The wind smells of salt and diesel and something older, petrichor after 180 million years of rain. Mara slips her hand into mine. Leo rests his head on my shoulder. We do not speak. There is nothing left to say that the trench has not already sung. The support ship, turns for home. Below us, the Mariana Trench sleeps, its lung full, its heart quiet. We will publish papers, give talks, grow old. Children will ask what it was like to touch the edge of the world. We will tell them the truth. It touched us back. And somewhere, 11 kilometers down,